The galaxy called humanity reckless, fragile, divided. But when one human was abandoned on a death world, the universe witnessed something it had never seen before. An entire species rising, not for conquest, not for empire, but for one of their own. Before we continue, please take a moment to like and subscribe and tell us where you're watching from. Now, let me tell you the story of how the galaxy learned humanity's oldest rule. We don't leave family behind. The Korai Coalition had many punishments for defiance. Some were swift and merciful, others cruel and deliberate. For Captain Marcus Kane, they chose exile on Velros 9. Velros 9 was not a world meant for life. Its skies boiled with toxic storms, seas of acid choked its valleys, and creatures the size of freighters stalked its plains. The Korai dragged Marcus from his cell, shackled and bleeding, and shoved him into a dropship. They said nothing as the craft descended, only smirked when he asked if he'd be executed quickly. "No!" the commander rasped in his insectile voice. "We prefer to watch you rot." The shuttle's ramp hissed open. The air burned his lungs. Lightning split the sky in purple forks. They threw him onto the ground, left him with nothing but the tatters of his uniform, and lifted off without a word. Marcus lay there for hours coughing, his body screaming. But when the first shadow moved against the stormlight, he forced himself upright. If Velros wanted to kill him, it would have to earn it. For days, Marcus scavenged. He found shelter in the husk of a crashed vessel, long since rusted to nothing. He tore apart wiring to fashion snares, sharpened shards of hull into crude blades. He learned to drink condensed rainwater filtered through scraps of cloth, choking back the metallic taste. Velros did not forgive weakness. Every dawn, predators prowled. Scaled things with needle fangs hunted in packs. Once, he stumbled upon their kill, an armored quadruped split open, steaming organs half-eaten. Marcus forced himself to eat what they left behind. Nights were worse. The storms rolled with thunder that shook the ground, and the darkness crawled with eyes. He slept in fits, back pressed to the wreck's wall, one hand gripping his improvised knife. Yet through it all, he whispered to himself the same words he'd spoken to recruits 100 times. "Hold the line. Someone's coming. We don't abandon our own." The Korai were amused. Surveillance drones circled high above, relaying his struggle to their commanders. To them, this was entertainment. They made wagers on how long the human would last. A week, some said, 2 at most. They didn't know what those words meant. Back on Earth, the news spread through whispers first. A freighter captain who'd seen the exile, a smuggler who caught fragments of Korai transmissions. The story reached Luna Outpost, then Mars, then the colonies. Marcus Kane, alive, stranded, left to die. Governments argued for caution. The coalition was vast, their fleets endless. But the people decided for themselves. Dockworkers in Ceres carved his name into bulkheads. Farmers on Europa painted it onto their domes. Soldiers who'd fought beside him told stories in barracks. Children whispered it at night, imagining him standing alone against monsters. And then came the words that no human could ignore. They left one of ours behind. It started small. A handful of private ships loaded supplies, charted routes toward Velros. Then entire mining guilds pooled resources to fuel freighters. Old warships, long mothballed, were dragged from orbit and refitted by volunteers. Across the stars, humanity moved, not by order, but by instinct. One of ours is out there. On Velros, Marcus fought to live. His beard grew ragged, his body scarred. He walked with a limp from a predator's slash, but he kept moving. He spoke to himself less now, but still muttered the old phrase, "Don't abandon your own." One night, under a rare clear sky, he saw a streak of light fall through the clouds. At first he thought it was another storm flare. Then he realized it was a ship. The Korai fleet moved to intercept. Dozens of destroyers descended toward Velros, sensors burning. They expected raiders. Instead, what they saw froze them. It wasn't a fleet, it was a flood. Civilian freighters, scavenger hulks, retrofitted miners, family transports, thousands of human vessels pushing into the sector like a tide. They carried no banner but one message, broadcast in every tongue. "We don't leave our own behind." The Korai commanders laughed at first. Then the first wave hit. Freighters rammed warships head-on. Gun batteries strapped to cargo haulers unleashed storms of fire. Every human vessel moved with suicidal resolve, a swarm overwhelming the precise formations of the coalition. For every ship lost, two more seemed to arrive. Entire convoys jumped in from hidden routes. Humanity's scattered colonies converging in one impossible armada. On the surface, Marcus heard the thunder. Different this time. Measured, deliberate. He stumbled from his shelter to see fire raining through the clouds, plasma trails streaking as coalition ships fell burning into Velros's seas. Above the wreckage, human vessels descended. Crude, battered, some barely holding together, but human. His knees buckled when he saw them. They had come. They had really come. The battle raged for days. The Korai were disciplined, relentless. But they were fighting an enemy they could not understand. Humanity wasn't obeying orders. They weren't calculating losses. They were fighting for one man. Every message intercepted said the same thing: "Get him back, whatever it takes." And slowly, impossibly, the tide turned. The swarm consumed the coalition fleet piece by piece until the skies of Velros burned with human fire. When the dropship landed near the wreck, Marcus could barely stand. He dragged himself forward, tears cutting tracks through ash and grime. The ramp lowered. A young pilot sprinted out, helmet under one arm. "Captain Marcus Kane!" she shouted. He nodded, choking back a sob. She smiled, eyes bright. "Sir, we came to bring you home." The galaxy watched in silence as the impossible unfolded. An empire had been challenged not by fleets or empires, but by family, by a species that refused to abandon one of their own. And the lesson echoed from world to world, from soldier to slave to emperor. Humanity may fight among itself. It may fracture, argue, bleed, but hurt one of theirs, and you face them all. That was humans don't abandon their own. Maybe that's what makes us dangerous. Not our weapons, not our ships, but the simple, stubborn truth that when one of us is lost, all of us come running. If this story hit you, subscribe for more. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because out here, in the vast dark, none of us should be left behind.